This week's episode of TTRL is sponsored by Focus, a short film written and directed by Mike Day of Dayvision Films. After years of working as a reporter for Channel 8 News, Denise Douglas is determined to become the newest face of the station. As she attempts to impress her boss and get a jump on the competition, Denise is confronted with the reality of how racism and sexism often shortchange working Black women. The young reporter must find a way to secure her dream job without compromising her pay and beliefs. Dayvision Films will host a private screening coming this October. Stay tuned on Terra Talks Ryan Listens for your chance to see it before it hits your local film festivals. To stay with the latest news, follow the movie page on Instagram at Focus Short Film. You can also follow Dayvision Films on IG and Facebook. Now let's hop into the show. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Terra Talks Ryan Listens.
I'm Tara.
And I'm Ryan. No, why did you do that?
Because I knew you would fall for it. That's why.
I'm not. Anywho, I'm Tara.
I guess I'm Ryan.
And we're back again. We hope y'all have had a great
week
and weekend. I do want to quickly hop into what's going on in our lives.
So September was Take a Man on a Date month. Right, is that where you were going to start?
I mean, we can. Sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, September was Take a Man on a Date month. And as y'all know, I was waiting patiently for me to be taken upon my dates, for I am a man. And it was September. Tara surprised the hell out of me with an amazing date. I had a great time. So I'm going to let you talk about it.
So,
talk about your process, how you came up with it, the things you had to do to set it up. Because I know you went into a lot of work and was planning and stressing and doing a lot.
The thing is, like, I write relationship advice articles. So, you know, I've done this whole great date night ideas thing for years. Also, you know, of course, in our early days of dating, we would always like Google cutesy little things and be like, oh, this is what we're going to do when we live together finally one day. Because we were long distance and couldn't see each other that often. So, you know, we've had lists of things to do. First, let me start from the beginning. We don't date.
Right.
We go together. We are possibly getting married in 200 days.
What you mean possibly?
I mean, you never know.
We already put deposits down.
You're right. We get married. But we don't date. And that's the thing. Like, I know a lot of couples out there have very rigid and strict date nights. You know, I've always been envious of those couples that are like, oh no, I can't do that, that's date night. And I'm like, what? We don't do that. And
we do not do that here.
We don't do those things. The thing is, like, when I say we don't date, I just mean we don't do it in the, I guess, formal, rigid, traditional sense. We more so like find things that we both like to do and we just do them. For instance, Janet Jackson concert. Hey, Janet's coming to town. You want to see her? Absolutely. Buy the tickets. Let's go.
Right.
A play in town that we both really want to see, or that we just.
It just sounded good in the description.
Buy the tickets. Go. Like, that's kind of what we do. And I will say, somebody suggested concerts or some type of live event as a date night thing, and I did look. There wasn't anything that I was interested in playing in town this weekend or this month. And that's our favorite type of date night, is some type of experience, whether that's a concert or a live event, play, what have you. But yeah, we don't do just like dates. I mean, we got to eat when we're hungry.
Yeah. Sometimes
it's Whataburger. Sometimes it's a nicer restaurant. Like, it just depends.
Sometimes it's a steakhouse.
Yeah, it just depends. So I wouldn't consider those dates. That's just, we live together. We got to eat. That's life. But because September is Take a Man on a Date month, I wanted to plan something specific. I do think women kind of get caught up in this whole mindset of, oh, why don't you take me on a date? Why don't you ever plan anything? And, you know, a lot of times we put that on the man to plan everything, and that's just unfair. And after my little journey of planning this date, I will say it is harder than it seems. And, you know, so my whole thing was I wanted to plan something that we had never done before. because I had a couple ideas, and I won't say what my other ideas were because I'm gonna possibly plan those for another time. But I had some really good ideas of things that I thought he would find fun or interesting, some things that we both would enjoy, some things that were like similar to things we've done before, but a different twist on it, kind of out of the box version of it. And I just, it was tough. But then I finally was like, you know what, I want to do something that we've never done before. That'll be a unique experience for us. And so I started Googling. And again, like I have Googled and I've pinned so many great date idea articles and lists and suggestions, but I started a fresh little Google search and different things came up. And the funny thing is, as I was Googling great date ideas, simple stuff that I would never consider a date is what was coming up. For instance, one of the things that came up was play video games together.
We do that quite regularly.
We do that all the time. Another thing that came up.
She is capable of beating me in 2K, but it doesn't happen often. There have been days where it happened 3 times in a row, and I can't explain it.
And I mean, I do enjoy that. That is us spending quality time together, but I don't know. I just don't know that I would consider that like a date per se.
That doesn't count as a date.
I mean,
that's coming home from work and decompressing.
It really is.
That's literally entertainment. It's same concept as watching TV.
It is. And that was another one that came up. Watch a show together that y'all both would enjoy. And I'm like, we do that all the time. There was like cook together. And I'm just like, we do that quite often. It was just, I don't know. It was just weird stuff. A lot of the stuff that they listed is stuff that I would not consider a date, and it's stuff that we just kind of do. Like one was like, go look at houses and like dream about like houses that you want one day.
And we kind of do that a lot too.
Yeah.
Well, not a lot, but that happens.
Yeah, it's happened. I don't know. It was just weird. So yeah, I was kind of having a hard time. But I eventually landed on like a painting with a twist type thing, because I know a couple other friends that we have that are couples, they have done it and really enjoy it. And then I've always wanted to. I'm actually shocked that we haven't done that before.
Me too.
And so I was like, okay, let's do that. So of course, type in painting with a twist, and that one was full. And so I was just like, ugh. So I put us on the waiting list for it. Pretty much knew I wasn't going to hear back from that. But I just started Googling other options because I was like, there's got to be more like sip and paint type options. And I found one. If you're in this area, check out iPaint. It was pretty dope. And they had an availability, booked that. And then the issue became, okay, we need to eat, because he was just coming back in town from a work trip. So I knew we were both going to be hungry. And I was just kind of like stressing out about like, do I find like a nice restaurant on the way, a nice restaurant in that area? Do you have time for a restaurant? Blah, blah, blah. Fast food, I feel like would ruin the whole date ambiance. And so then I was like, oh, we could do like a Uber Eats type thing and have it delivered to the place. But then I was like, eating while you're painting sounds like that would be messy. It was just a lot.
Yeah, that would have been a lot of work too.
Yeah, it was a lot to consider. What I landed on was something that popped up on like one of the Google lists that I really did not consider to be a date. But then I was like, okay, this could be a component to the date. And so that was find like a restaurant and make that like y'all's regular spot. Well, we already have a restaurant that is our regular spot.
Yep.
And it's this dope little Korean barbecue and sushi place. Yes.
It's Korean barbecue and it's sushi.
Yeah.
And it's literally the best of both in town.
It is so good. And so the funny thing is, how did we start going there? I mean, like,
didn't we just randomly try it one day? Or no, somebody you knew.
So I was at the mall one day before you moved here, and I was like, hey, where's a good place to get sushi? And somebody recommended it. And I think I may have tried it once or twice without you. But then once you moved here, I took you and you loved it and we started going more often. I didn't realize how often we were going until I guess one day we went on a Saturday or Sunday, and then the owner was like, "Hey, you're usually here every Friday." And we were like, "We are?" We didn't even realize
we were going on Friday every single week.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, I guess it's our regular spot, which I love. Because you know how in sitcoms, they always have like a regular spot that they always go to?
Right. Friends got the Central Perk.
Yes.
How I Met Your Mother got McLaren's.
Yes.
That's all I got.
Okay, me too. But, you know, more sitcoms do that. But anyway, so I always wanted to like have a regular spot like that. So I was like, perfect. We can go there before we head to the little sip and paint thing. And that was perfect because they're pretty quick. Like you just order and they bring it right out and doesn't take long at all. So we were able to have time to do that and still make it on time for our little sip and paint thing.
Yeah.
So what did you think? How did you like it?
So that was my first time as an adult using paint. Honestly, I've seen the go and paint with your friends while drinking wine places, and I was like, oh, that looks like it's fun. But then I thought about it, like, you actually have to paint stuff, and as an artist, you know, I was just like, dang, I gotta work for fun. Now, I'm not a painter, but I am an artist, so I do consider it work, even though it's supposed to be fun, which absolutely it was fun. You know, that was the cool part. It didn't feel like I was working. I didn't feel like I was like, you know, in a class learning something new, even though there's an instructor kind of helping, walking you through the processes. And yeah, it was just cool. So I, you know, before we even started, the instructor started telling us what to do. I was already working it out in my head, like, okay, I'm gonna do this with this, and I'm gonna take this brush and I'm gonna make it just like that. So I'm sitting there doing all of this in my head, and a lot of the stuff I was kind of planning to do, I was literally very similar to what she was telling us to do.
It really made me so mad how good you were at it.
Oh, thank you.
Like, really mad.
That's a compliment. Because
I'm kind of a perfectionist, and honestly, this is why I don't paint. Like, this is why I don't really do hardly much creative in terms of like artwork and stuff like that because yeah, I'm a perfectionist. Now, mind you, when I was a kid, I used to love to paint, but I traced stuff and then painted that. So I was definitely cheating because I wanted it to be exactly perfect. I didn't want to get creative. I didn't want to think outside the lines. I wanted to think in the lines. And so that's just the kind of person I am. Y'all know I'm pretty like structured and rigid on stuff like that. And so it was really bothering me that my artwork was not perfect and Ryan's was pretty close to perfect. I mean, it was really good.
Aww.
And you know, I'm sitting here. I enjoyed it. I will say that I really enjoyed it. It was cool for us to do something different together. Also, I will say this. So as we were driving to the place, Ryan didn't know where we were going. So in my mind, I'm thinking, dang,
I had no clue.
I was thinking, man, this could go really great or really wrong. And the reason I say that is because we both had busy, crazy weeks where we were just around people and just kind of over people and just like annoyed with people. And like, you know how it is when you're in a group setting with strangers, you could end up clicking with somebody that's really dope, or you could end up being really pissed off at how annoying the person next to you is. So I was like, man, if we get around a group of strangers and they like ruin the whole mood, this could like ruin our whole experience. And I was just like, I kind of wish it was just us. Then we walk in and it was just us.
It was literally just us.
It was so cool. They were like, so it's just going to be y'all tonight.
Like,
and
nice.
Yes. At first I was like, oh, Ryan's going to think this is lame. But then I was like, no, this is going to be cool.
When have I ever thought something was lame?
I don't know.
And if I did I tell you like right then, like, this is lame, I don't want to do this? Or did I give it a try and tell you it was lame after giving it a serious attempt to enjoy it?
Anyway, the point is, I didn't know if you were going to like it or not, and it ended up being really cool. It was really cool that it was just us because that meant we got to pick out what we wanted to paint instead of doing the one that was scheduled for that week. It meant we got to pick out the playlist for the music that night, so which of course was 90s R&B. And so it was just a more fun, intimate experience. The artist was there, you know, kind of instructing us on what to do. Shout out to my girl, Lachelle. She hooked us up. Y'all definitely enjoyed her and her husband, they were like, we were just chatting.
Super cool people.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, when you have stuff like that, like I said, it could go really wrong really fast if you're like around the wrong people. But luckily we had a great time. We were able to relax and just like enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Like she mentioned, the music was great. We had some nice little wine. Also, the painting, I didn't realize how good.
Did you paint with your left hand or your right hand? I just realized that.
A little bit of both, mostly left.
Of course you did.
I had to switch it for a couple times. The table I was on was a bit wobbly, so I had to like, stabilize it with my left hand and then use my right hand to do a couple things. But yeah, I did switch it up a bit. Mostly left.
So if y'all go to paint_your_power, you'll see our finished product. And of course, we'll post it on our social media as well.
Go on Instagram, take a look.
And you can clearly see Ryan's looks better than mine. But that's okay, because the perfectionist in me is learning how to let things go. And like, so this was kind of like therapy for me.
Yeah, nice.
To just like, okay, Tara, it's okay if everything's not perfect. And so it was interesting, just live in the moment, enjoy the moment. It's pretty interesting. I don't know. And I actually have seen, I mean, of course we all know that painting is really good therapy. But yeah.
Yeah, I definitely, matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, I was having a terrible day leading up to this date night. I don't want to go into details, but man, I was ready to throw things off of the planet. Literally, yeah. That's how angry I was.
It kind of scared me that you were in a bad mood right before our date.
Yeah, and I could tell, so I was like, let me just try to calm down. Let me not show all the anger that I'm feeling. So, I was like, let me just take a shower and kind of just relax and calm down a lot. So I did. I was able to calm down quite a bit. And I was like, okay, we're finna go have a good time. We're finna go eat some good food. We're finna go do something cool that I have no idea what it is yet. By the time we got there, I was a little bit anxious because I didn't know what we were doing. And we kind of had trouble finding the place at first because the GPS was doing something weird. But by the time we got there, I literally was able to just kind of forget all about it and got lost in the painting and literally forgot the problem I was having. Not going to go into detail, but man, it was a big problem. I was big mad. And by the time we started painting, I completely forgot about all of it. So I would absolutely say this was a great idea.
I'm glad.
It was therapeutic. It was fun. It was artistic. It also wasn't too serious to the point where I was like, this has to be correct. I have to do X, Y, and Z. I have to do this. So it was just like, let me just do something cool. Let me make some nice looking art.
Yeah.
And more importantly, we did it together.
That's all that matters. Yeah. So yeah, shout out to date night for being so awesome. Shout out to me for pulling it off. And shout out to everyone who sent suggestions. I got those in my back pocket for future date nights. And I will say this has inspired me to plan more date nights for us. And maybe take a little bit of the burden or pressure off of you. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel great because now you kind of get what I have to go through when I plan things for you. Mm-hmm. And two, or when men plan things for women in general. And two, you might have better ideas than me. So we might end up doing cooler things.
Yeah. So
we both know what we like at this point as long as we've been together. And also, it was just something completely different and fun. Even if it turned out to be a terrible experience, it would have been something that we tried together. Yeah. So I'm always about trying new things.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Whenever we ask couples for like relationship advice, they always say like to try new things together, go to new places together, and like having those new experiences together is what kind of deepens and strengthens the relationship. So that's kind of like one of my big things to make sure that we always do. So I really am glad we did that. And like I said, it was just cool to have like a specific planned date night and not like just something that we did together, And so I like to keep things a little fresh, if you will. And as we're planning this wedding, it is definitely something that I'm trying to focus on, is just make sure like we maintain our relationship and don't let the stress or, like the endless to-do list that is planning a wedding get in the way of it. And I'm just trying to like always remind us it's just one big party. Speaking of planning a wedding, I shouted out the Knots podcast XOXO last week. And right after I did that, the next episode that I came to was Seth Curry's parents, Del and Sonia. Did you listen to that one?
I didn't, but I saw it. And I plan to because I'm getting back on the road tomorrow.
Yes, you have got to listen to that one. It's a really good episode. Honestly, they're super cute, which I knew they would be. They kind of made me wish that we were getting married 30 years ago, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were just talking about how simple their wedding was. And I'm just like, that sounds awesome. Like, literally 30 years ago, people just got married either at somebody's house or at their church, and then had the reception at somebody's house or at the church, and the family did a potluck, and just simple. I don't know. And again, like, they've been together 30 years and or 30 plus years, I think. Plus, yeah. And it was adorable just hearing their whole little love story of how they met, and now they've got 2 grown kids married and one that's about to be married. And so it was a really good episode. So definitely encourage you to check that out. It's really great wedding planning advice, but also relationship advice. And so if you're planning a wedding, I think it's a really good one to listen to. Or if you just love hearing couple stories, it's super cute. Alrighty, let's hop into this timeline.
What are the things that are on your timeline?
So last week we talked about Beyonce's Making the Gift documentary or special or whatever you want to call it on ABC. And right after we recorded the podcast, we actually checked, and it was on ABC's app. And so we got to watch it. And it was amazing. Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I did.
I enjoyed it.
I love the fact that it's going to sound weird, but I love that everything was organically sourced.
Yes.
She literally used as many African producers and singers and artists and things like that as much as possible.
Yeah.
And it was really good, seeing her do that, and, turn me on to quite a few African artists that I wasn't familiar with.
Exactly. So. I love that. And the thing that I loved about it is the fact that the gift is not really a soundtrack. It's not songs from the movie per se. It is an album inspired by the movie.
Right.
And the thing is, when you listen to it, you do get that kind of feel. You get the sense that it's definitely connected to the movie, and it's so inspiring. It's so good. But it's not, I don't know, soundtracky.
Right.
So I really loved it, and I loved kind of seeing the behind the scenes of it. Loved seeing where people came from and her thought process behind all of it. Of course, love anytime she lets us see a glimpse of those babies, those beautiful babies.
Right.
There were
quite a few scenes of them where we could actually sit and look at them for a second.
Yes. Yeah. When she said, what does she say? What does the cow say? Moo.
Yeah.
Little Rumi. It was adorable. And of course, Blue, she's already a star in the making. So I really enjoyed that. If you have the ABC app, you might want to check it out. It was pretty cool. If you watched it, hit me up and tell me what was your favorite part. So our fall shows are back. Grey's Anatomy, of course, on season 537. And yes, I definitely watched it. I love that they didn't start off too strong. It's kind of a simple episode. It's got a lot of content and of course a little surprise cliffhanger at the end, but it wasn't too jarring. Like I wasn't in tears, which I'm glad, because I'm not ready to be in tears with Grey's yet. Just give me some episodes and some content. Blackish is back, and it was a good episode as well. So we did have a chance to check out Mixed-ish. I didn't even bother with Grownish because we're so far behind on Grownish.
Right.
But yeah, Mixed-ish. It still creeps me out that the mom is dark skinned on Mixed-ish, but she's light skinned on Blackish.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I absolutely think they picked a very good cast.
They did. Oh, I love Tika Sumpter.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Tika Sumpter is absolutely amazing.
I mean...
And the lady who plays the Rainbow's mom in Blackish is great too.
Yeah.
But...
it just does not make sense.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
What happened there?
I don't
get
it. But whatever. The show was cute though. I really liked it. What'd you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be good. And then Fresh Off the Boat.
I'm fresh off the boat.
Was back. Oh, those kids are growing up.
Yeah, it's funny seeing kids grow up in these shows.
Yeah. Same thing with Blackish.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack and Diane are growing up on us.
Yeah. It's crazy how, like, Diane got so tall so fast and then Jack was still short and now he's finally catching up. It's crazy.
Yeah. And then we also found out that apparently Forever 21 is filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
What?
Might close up to 178 U.S. stores.
Interesting.
So
I heard somebody say that Forever 21 is just the brick and mortar version of Fashion Nova.
It is, and that's why they're closing.
Yeah.
Because of Fashion Nova. And the thing is, I think a lot of us who used to shop at Forever 21 now need a Forever 31. I mean, we need some leggings and long baggy shirts. We need some good solid track shoes, if you will. Sunglasses and loose baggy clothes. We need a coffee shop in there, a place to do yoga, take a nap. Like we need a different brand, a few different options. So
and on top of that, a lot of what's in Forever 21 is generally replicating what's in other stores by other brands.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt.
At this point, there's just like really too much of it.
I also think we are kind of in that phase where people just, I don't know. I kind of feel like malls are about to be.
Yeah, I'm surprised. There's a lot of places with malls that are half empty at this point.
Yeah. So
everybody's on Amazon. Everybody's buying from small boutiques on Instagram.
Or you've got things like Stitch Fix and ThredUp.
That too.
Where you can just like say, like for me, like I hate shopping. I've always hated shopping. My mom and my sister always bought my clothes. You buy my clothes now. Like I just don't enjoy shopping. But you know what? If Stitch Fix wants me to fill out a little questionnaire, and if they want to mail me 5 items that I can look at and try on in the comfort of my own home and then decide whether or not to keep them all and buy them or send them back. This is not an advertisement for Stitch Fix, but
it absolutely could.
It could be because I am a faithful fan. And the thing is, like, that's just so convenient for me. So I don't know. It's just something to think about in terms of, your places like Forever 21.
Especially now that those neighbors aren't there to steal our packages. We don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like they've done a lot. I wanted to say to Forever 21, thanks for the memories. Because when I needed a $7 outfit to go to the club, they were there for me.
They were.
When I needed some $2 accessories, they were there for me.
I got a tie from there once.
From Forever 21? I didn't know they had men's stuff.
Yeah, not at the one where we live.
But at
one
some
in
other
bigger
ones.
cities, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Chicago, Dallas, I think Houston.
I will say this. I always used to get Forever 21 and H&M mixed up and Charlotte Russe. So, some of these memories, some of these shout outs might belong to them. But anyway, the point is, Forever 21, you will always be in my heart. But I am not Forever 21. I am not. I am out of them 20s, and it's a different feeling. It's a different time. You know who has my heart right now? Target.
Oh yeah.
And that's real. Also on my timeline, shout out to Allison Felix for breaking Usain Bolt's record 10 months after giving birth.
Nice.
Did you hear that?
I did not.
Yeah. Look at this. Talk about Black excellence. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And
girl power.
And girl power, yes. And so she's one of the most decorated female track athletes ever.
Of course.
which is pretty dope. Her daughter Cameron. Oh my gosh, I love the name Cameron for a girl spelled Camryn. Her daughter was born premature via emergency C-section in November of 2018. And so this is just like, to me, further proof that women are
superheroes.
Basically.
Absolutely. Cool. Yeah.
So,
congratulations to her.
Yes.
I gotta go find that story because I completely missed that. And keep in mind, I've been on the road and not in front of a laptop.
Right, because I'm going to say that was all on my timeline. How you going to tell me about Barney's and not telling me about Alice and Felix?
Yeah. I heard people talking about it, and apparently that's newer than the last road trip I was on. So
possibly.
Yeah. Yep, it is.
So Nancy Pelosi finally said what we've all been waiting for her to say for the last 2.5-3 years, and that is she announced a formal impeachment inquiry.
Nice.
And
it only took 2.5 years.
Right. And the thing is, the memes are hilarious. Of course.
Yeah, I'm kind of behind on timeline stuff right now, so yeah. Let's talk about it.
I don't really want to talk about it too much because I don't like talking about the person who is possibly being impeached, and I don't want this to be a political show. But
true. I was talking about the memes, but yeah, just post the memes.
I will post those memes.
We'll talk about those memes.
But it's just crazy because I just think people need to realize that memes. Impeachment is easier said than done. It's one of those things where she probably had to make sure she had everything together. But yeah. Okay, here's one that I enjoyed. It says, in honor of Nancy Pelosi, I'm about to get going on some work stuff that I really should have done months ago. That's real. That was my favorite one. I'll post some of the others. But yeah, so again, don't want to get too much into it. One thing to think about is the U.S. has never impeached a president. And so you have Clinton, who was exonerated. Is that the right word?
Probably.
And then you have Nixon resigned before he could be impeached. He was definitely going to be impeached. And so he had I will say this, this is the only nice thing I can say about Nixon is that he stepped down. I think the person we have right now is too hubris. Is that the right word?
I'm not familiar with that word.
Too cocky, too proud.
Spell the word you just said.
Hubris, HUB. Yeah, there you go. Too.
Yep, that's absolutely the right word.
Excessive pride or self-confidence. Yay.
Not a sufficient amount of pride or self-confidence, but excessive, meaning it's a lot of it is undeserved, unwarranted.
Yeah, so I don't see this person being you know what, I'm just gonna step down because I don't want to divide the country. Yeah, that's not happening. So I don't know, it'll be interesting to see. This is definitely one for the history books. A lot of people are saying that it's a waste of time and not worth it because it's not gonna happen. And then
that's their strategy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, don't want this to be a political show, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I just, I want to say shout out to my girl, Nancy P, holding it down with her girl, Maxine Waters, and a lot of other folks that are working to make sure that the integrity of this democracy is intact. And, may the force be with you. Do you want to talk about Tekashi 6ix9ine?
Not really. It's still kind of up in the air right now as far as I know. Like I said, I'm behind on a lot of stuff. But last time that I checked, he was basically having to, he was telling on everybody, obviously, which, is frowned upon in the gang community.
Yes.
Which he clearly wasn't a part of prior to his music career, which is why I have no sympathy for him. Basically, you just went and started being in a gang because you started rapping. no, that's stupid. So I don't really have any sympathy for him there. What I'm hearing now, what's being reported is that when he gets out, he's going to refuse witness protection.
Not smart.
Not smart at all. On top of that, you got a bunch of distinctive tattoos on your face that you're going to have to cover up or get removed or hide. And you're literally not going to be able to continue your career as the person you made famous. You'd have to be a completely different person. At some point, we're going to be like Tekashi 6ix9ine and Hiroshima 42 is the same person.
Wow.
And then it's going to be a whole thing. And a lot of people are saying that he ain't going to make it past 3 months once he gets out and doesn't take the witness protection. And I really don't wish that on anybody, but if you pour water on yourself, you will get wet. If you put your hand on a flame, it will get burnt. So I'm pretty sure you got enough legal counsel telling you to make the smarter choice, but should you choose not to, I guess just don't be surprised. I honestly can't say that anybody's surprised about the outcome of this current situation. Because again, it's like a lot of people are just, doing what they do for fame and clout, as the young kids say nowadays. Right. Which I hate the word clout. But anyway, because clout sounds gross. Doesn't it sound like something gross? Like a gross...
No.
Anyway, I'm not going to try to explain that to you. Point is, yeah, this is what happens when you clout chase. That's all I got. Other than that, the memes are still coming and they are still hilarious.
They are. Thank y'all.
I'm literally enjoying the memes.
Yes, I appreciate that. The internet for that. So,
yeah,
something to think about. So that is all that is on my timeline currently. What is obscure news for you?
Man, so nothing from Florida right now, believe it or not. I got two. I'm going to start with these headlines. Woman sparks apartment fire by burning love letters.
Wow.
Police in Lincoln, Nebraska said the woman left some of the burnt letters on the floor before taking a nap. When she awoke, the carpet was on fire. Oh my
gosh, a nap?
It seems this love was too hot to handle.
Oh, no.
Police in Lincoln say a 19-year-old woman sparked an apartment fire Monday by burning the love letters of her ex in her bedroom. Police say the woman used a butane torch to burn the letters and left some of them on the floor. So she then went to another room to take a nap. Police say she woke a short time later to find the carpet on fire.
Why would you leave them on the floor?
Firefighters were able to extinguish the fire within minutes. Officials say the fire caused an estimated $4,000 in damage to the building. No one was injured.
Oh my gosh.
The woman was cited for negligent burning.
Of course she was.
All right, so I've heard therapists and people on TV say things like, you have to have a funeral for that person. Mm-hmm. Move on and let them go. Burn the letters, burn the pictures. But didn't you realize that they were in a flame retardant pail when they did it? They dropped it into a bucket.
Or they used a fireplace.
Or made sure that everything was completely doused in water prior to walking away from it all.
And then take a nap.
Yeah, so there's a method to said madness with that.
It is definitely therapeutic.
Yeah, I'm not gonna knock that.
But you know what else is therapeutic, but doesn't require a firefighter?
Cutting your hair.
Oh yes, that too. That's a great one.
Because when everybody says, when a woman changes her hair, she about to change her life.
That is so true.
Change the world.
That is so true. One time I cut my hair before I broke up with somebody and they were like, oh. I'm like, wow. Yes. You sense what's coming? Mm. Yes.
Tough.
Also, one time when somebody broke up with me, they gave me a plate and told me to break it. They were like, here, this will be therapeutic. And it was. I broke the plate.
So somebody who you were breaking up with or was breaking up with you gave you a plate and said break it?
There was a long story behind the plate. There was an actual reason for the plate. But then they were just like, actually, here, break this. That's therapeutic. And I was like, okay.
Or so break dishes.
Breaking dishes. That's why, is that Greek or Jewish people that do that? I think it's Greek.
Jewish.
I think it's Greek.
I think it's Jewish. But carry on.
Anyway, the point is, it's probably both. Breaking plates is therapeutic. Cutting your hair is therapeutic. There's so many things you can do to get over somebody other than burn your apartment and then have to pay a $4,000 fine damages.
Yeah, it's a Jewish thing. Breaking the glass at a Jewish wedding.
Yes, I know that, breaking the glass at a Jewish wedding, but so also I believe Greek people break plates.
Hang on, I'm looking it up. Greek plate smashing.
Yes.
Yep.
I am correct.
During celebration. So was I. I wasn't wrong. Nice try, though.
You were wrong because that's a glass and a plate is different.
So here's the thing. I didn't say that it wasn't the Greek people. I just said I'm pretty sure the Jewish people break glass or dishes.
Okay.
So yeah, nice try, though. On to the next story.
You were wrong. I was right.
Sure, whatever. But I have it on record that I didn't say that it was not Greek. I said I think
you
it's
don't
Jewish.
have anything on record. It's not like we're recording this or anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we're recording a podcast or nothing where I can go back and literally play a repeat of what I just said. So yeah.
Next,
exactly. Next weird headline: Michigan driver shocked when billboard displays porn for 20 minutes.
What?
Police say a hacker may have been responsible for the explicit sex scenes shown to drivers on Saturday nights.
That's funny.
So an electronic billboard near Auburn Hills, Michigan aroused a lot of attention Saturday night after it started playing a porn video. Police say they received numerous calls about the graphic images on the billboard located on I-75 and M59. Yeah, a lot of people were just seeing it. And this one guy said he almost crashed because he was shocked at what he was seeing. Couldn't believe it. He said it was a lesbian porn scene, apparently. Another driver thought that at first the video was an intentional ad for something like a strip club. Then he realized what it really was. So, yeah.
Wow.
There's obviously not a clip of it here. There's like a 1 second clip of it, which only shows a girl's face. So, I mean, there's nothing to see there. So that pretty much, yeah, that's a safe for work video. I don't really see how they resolved it or anything like that, but yeah, I don't see any resolution. But I guess it stopped after like 20 minutes. It said it only happened like 20 minutes. So they say it's possible that a hacker got into the billboard system and maybe he just got out on his own or turned it off after a certain point. But yeah,
that's funny.
It definitely happened. You can probably find a video if you search hard enough. See, that's the problem
with these digital billboards. Got people hacking billboards.
So you just want to go back to the old ones where they don't move?
Yeah.
That's fine. So that pretty much wraps up the weird news for me. That's all I got.
Actually, I have one.
Okay, cool.
That I wanted to add. So, a Texas man divorces wife without her knowing by forging paperwork.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Where am I going with this?
Now I want you to read the story first, and I'm going to tell you what I think I know.
Okay, so basically this man wanted out of his marriage, and instead of going through the divorce proceedings, he faked his wife's signature on paperwork and ending their union without her knowledge. And so this happened in Houston, and yeah, I just think this is hilarious. We have teams out looking for him right now. We have an idea where he is, so he'll turn himself in. So not only did he forge his wife's signature, I guess he's now on the run, wanted for perjury and fraudulent documents.
Is this the guy who showed up to court with his new wife?
I don't think so.
Oh, because I saw a story earlier today from the few minutes where I was on the computer looking at Facebook and stuff. Said man divorces wife by forging paperwork and shows up to court with his new wife.
Oh, then that must be the same.
It might be.
Yeah. I don't see that.
Okay.
I don't see that here, but that could be in a different article.
Yeah, it definitely showed a guy holding the hand of another woman. But again, that could have just been a random picture too. So
wow. So, FYI, after we get married, don't do that.
Just how about don't divorce me?
Yeah, don't divorce me either, but definitely don't forge my signature to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
I just feel like what was really going on that he couldn't have been like, all right. Sign this paper for me.
I mean, I guess I don't know. That's a good question.
So he must have wanted the divorce and she didn't.
Either she didn't want it and he did, or I don't know. Maybe that's a wonderful question. I can't imagine that, frankly.
Hilarious.
All right, so that, like I said, that wraps it up for me.
Alrighty.
With the odd news. All
right, let's hop into our listener letters. Remember, just shoot us an email at askttrl@gmail.com or askttrl@gmail.com. You can also DM us on social media if you have questions for us. We would love to hear from you. So our first question is from, let me think.
Think of a good fake name for this one.
Let's just do Jane Villanueva.
Okay, because we're watching Jane the Virgin.
Yes, we are. All right, so Jane says, I'm a 28-year-old woman who is in a serious relationship, and I really like the guy. However, he has a serious old habits die hard mentality in spite of successfully making it out of the hood, completing college, and starting a master's degree. He is extremely brilliant, makes good money, and has no problem saving. The problem is he refuses to stop I'm just reading this.
I told you should have read it ahead of time.
He refuses to stop refilling the ketchup bottle with packets from fast food places. Speaking of fast food, he thrives on the value menu. He literally won't splurge for a burger with lettuce and tomato. Speaking of vegetables, he literally won't eat them unless I cook dinner and invite him over. Otherwise, he will spend a total of $15 a week on the value menu and nothing else. The only food in his very nice apartment is ramen and off-brand chips and 89-cent 2-liter bottles of soda, making his grocery budget $15 a month. Man! He does not even drink water. Oh my Lord. This concerns me as our relationship gets more and more serious. We have talked seriously about marriage and plan to move in together once we're engaged. I would hate to nag him about healthier food choices and ruin the otherwise great relationship, but I need him to not suffer from the impending high blood pressure, etc. by the time we're in our 30s. How can I encourage him to at least drink water? Thanks, Jane. Okay, wow. Jane. So, Jane, let me tell you this. You got you a good man. He's good. Otherwise, he's just cheap. What's the daddy from Everybody Hates Chris? Julius. You about to marry Julius, and he gonna save you some money. You said he good at saving money. He's got a college degree, working on his master's. He's, making good money. Like, I don't understand what the problem is. You said he's successful. The problem is he made it out the hood, but you can't take the hood out of him.
Very true. That's what I was going to start with.
And you grew up where when the ketchup runs out, you throw the bottle away and you buy a new bottle of ketchup. That's how I grew up also. But there are some people that are like, it's still some more good in that. Add some water and shake it up. Yeah, no. I couldn't. I'm just going to be honest with you, Jane. That would drive me crazy as well. Some might call me wasteful because I am just not finna sit here and soak the marrow out of something just to get every little penny's worth. I'm not gonna do that. I definitely know that I grew up a certain way. We were not rich by any means, but we had a certain level of bourgeoisie. I was gonna say bourgeoisity. We were a bit bougie.
Okay, that better. There you go.
A bit. Just a bit. And the thing is, okay, so before y'all get married, while y'all are just dating, let him spend his $15 a week. Let him spend his $50 a month. That's more money he can spend on you. Once y'all get married, you're going to have to cook healthy things because you said he'll eat vegetables if you cook. So it's not that he won't eat them. He's just not going to go out of his way to spend money. Let me tell you, that asparagus and squash, it adds up. Eating healthy is expensive. Don't get some fruit too. It's expensive eating healthy, but he makes good money. So when y'all get married, y'all get that joint account and you go buy them groceries, girl. Because let me tell you, $15 a month on groceries is laughable to me. I have never, even when I was a broke, struggling college student, spent no $15 a month on groceries. So, if he's doing that and he's making that work, cool. You're going to have to trick him into taking vitamins. You have to trick him into drinking water. Maybe you add some lemon slices, some cucumber, mint, whatever. Get him a little detox water. Maybe a little Propel. Whatever he needs, you're going to have to get him to drink some water because that's ridiculous. Our bodies are made of water. We need water. But other than that, you just going to have to cook and pack his lunch, meal prep, girl. I don't know what to tell you. I would not leave him because he is cheap. That's actually a really good quality. He's taken it to a very far extreme that would drive me insane as well. But I think you're going to have to make that work.
Okay, so let's start with the fact that you said he made it out of the hood. With that, the first thing that says to me is that maybe just him, but I'm going to assume he and his family survived some very difficult times, both financially and, in terms of food security and things like that. It may or may not be an easy thing to let go of. Now, I didn't grow up in the hood, but I grew up far from the suburbs and the hills and the mountains. So I get it. I absolutely get it. That it's a very difficult thing to do, when you're so grounded in where you come from. And it also seems like he got this mentality of, I ain't never going to change kind of thing. He always going to, keep it real, keep it true to himself and all of that kind of stuff. But at the same time, there's opportunity for growth, but you cannot rush that simply because once you think, you really got to understand where he's coming from. Do you really know his backstory? Do you really know, a lot of time, like let's say, for example, rappers, a lot of rappers will come up telling you they grew up, splitting one pack of ramen between 3 siblings, things like that. I know people who have said the very similar things, and, it's a thing where you just grew up a certain way. And regardless of how much money you make, you never want to be in that position again. So regardless of what he's eating, he may still be eating the exact same thing, but he may take a lot more comfort in knowing that his bank account looks nothing like the one he grew up with. So yes, it's going to take some time for him to make those adjustments. He may be saving for a very specific item that will benefit you. And I'm not going to say that it's a circular piece of metal.
He might be saving for a ring.
I wasn't going to say it was a circular piece of metal, but...
or even better, he might be saving for a house.
He literally just might not like food enough to spend that much money on it.
He might be saving to take you out on a trip.
There are times where I'm literally like, why do I have to have food every day? Why can't I just take a pill once or twice a week or once every 2 weeks or something like that for like $20 and just not have to worry about paying for food, cooking food, eating food, digesting food, whatever.
Deciding what to eat.
Because that's my biggest issue, is deciding what to eat. Because I'd rather eat healthy, but there's not a lot of healthy options. So I struggle with that. But in this case, he may just really not care enough about food to spend additional money. Like, he may just be a hardcore saver, like Tara mentioned, like Mr. Julius on Everybody Hates Chris. He might be like Mr. Krabs on SpongeBob. But what you have to do is have an understanding of why he's the way he is. It might take some time for him to open up about it. It might not be something he wants to share right away. But if the relationship is going where you say it is, he'll come around to it. At some point, he'll realize that he has a good woman who's looking out for him in his best interest. He may not have grown up with that type of, seeing those types of relationships for adults, because I cannot say that I did. So it's going to take some adjusting. But like Tara said, and I don't really want to say it this way, but once y'all live together, it'll be a lot easier for you to kind of introduce him to new food groups, introduce him to Fiji. Let's start with Nestle Pure Life, because he's not going to pay for Fiji.
Let's start with Tap and some ice. Come on now. He ain't drinking water.
True. Yeah. You got to start at the bottom for this. But I would just just try to understand where he's coming from, because it's one of those situations where you have to seek first to understand, then to be understood. Because it sounds like there was some maybe not trauma per se, but definitely some childhood issues or some things that he's seen growing up that he doesn't ever want to encounter. You know, he may be one of those people who's just like, you know what, I could lose my job tomorrow, and I don't want to get used to, you know, eating shrimp and steak or whatever, or, you know, lettuce and tomato for in his case, and then have to go back to just meat, bread, cheese, and mustard.
I never would have thought lettuce and tomato on a burger was a luxury versus just a plain burger.
Because it sounds like he don't even buy the McDouble. It sounds like he just buys the plain burger.
Yeah.
The plain hamburger.
That's funny. So here's the thing, though. I agree that there was probably some trauma from his childhood of growing up in the hood, maybe growing up poor, maybe growing up where you had to decide between groceries or the light bill. And that can be tough, but I also think men just eat differently than women.
This is also true. Because let's talk about before I moved in with you. After I had graduated college and had a job and had money to do whatever. Not whatever, but I had enough money, you know. I would literally go to Walmart like probably once or twice a month and get a loaf of bread, some PB&J, some and just like lunch meat and make sandwiches. I would have a case of ramen, and I would probably spend like $10 or $15 on quote groceries, just so I would make sure I had something to eat at the house. Now, I wasn't as extreme as him. I wasn't saving the ketchup packets. You know, I would purchase ketchup, but and I also wasn't only eating off the value menu. Every once in a while, I would get the you know, I'd go to Chipotle, and every once in a while, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I do want guac. You know, but at the same time, I probably don't save money as well as he does.
But men just require less. Like a lot of men, like I worked with this guy and literally he would just eat PB&J every day. Meanwhile, I was going out to eat for lunch every day. And, you know, same thing with dinner. A man is fine with ramen versus I got to have my tilapia, my asparagus, my sweet potato. You know, like
she was like, babe, what are you gonna do for dinner? I'm like, probably just heat up some ramen. That ain't no meal.
Or eat some cereal.
Yeah, she used to have this whole thing about that ain't no meal. We gotta talk about that on a whole nother episode.
We do. But yeah, anyway, the thing is, like, men are just different than women, and it's a lot of time. Well, a lot of men, I will say that, are just different. A lot of times they don't see the purpose in certain things that we would consider, you know, necessary. They consider luxury. And so I just think that if you're saying he's a great guy in every other aspect, this could be something that you can work on over time. I know we plug therapy all the time, but I do think this is something that you could take to a couples therapist and then kind of dig deeper in terms of what food means to him versus what food means to you, why it's important for you because he may not get the big picture of you saying, I need you to eat some vegetables and drink some water so that you can live a nice long life and be around for me and whatever future kids we have. He might just think, I'm saving money.
It also sounds like he's not going to want to pay for therapy. Just heads up. That might be another a battle in and of itself.
But find a free therapist or you pay for it or whatever. The point is, this is something you can dig deeper into, and I think it's something you can work through.
Yeah, so I would say start at home before you make the move to a therapist. So obviously, see how he feels about it first. See if he'll open up to you. You might not even require a therapist at this point, or at least not until, you know, premarital stuff like that. But obviously, you know, try to talk to him. Try to, you know, work on that communication, because it sounds like y'all are pretty serious. So I would say just give that a shot first. Maybe cook more often. I'm not telling you to like spend more time trying to feed him, because y'all are both grown. It sounds like you probably got a career of your own and all of this kind of stuff, and you got your own things in your life. But yeah, you can definitely be an influence.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not about it being your responsibility. It's about you influencing him to make better choices. And so all you can control is what you do.
Now here's my suggestion. It might take some time, but it may be worth a shot. Cook as much as you can for like the next month, and then make it all healthy stuff. Make enough for him to take to work for lunch, and it sounds like you only eat like twice a day anyway. So yeah, make enough healthy food and then stop. Because at some point, once he has to go back to the value menu, it's not going to be the same. He's going to have like a different palette. So get that a shot, maybe.
Good luck, Jane. We're rooting for you, and we want to hear an update.
I'm surprised you didn't have a response to what I just said, but okay, yeah.
I mean, I did, but I thought we want to wrap it up.
I would have liked to hear your response, but okay.
I just am leery because I'm assuming they're, like we said, they're not married yet. I would say,
and of course, that's where you come in and be like, look, this can of green beans only costs 64 cents, and it can be 2 servings.
I just think you don't need to necessarily worry about educating him too much until after you get married.
But I also don't want them to get married and then, have battles and arguments about how one of the other is eating.
Well, that's why I was saying this would be a great discussion to have with a therapist, but I'm not saying, I don't think it should be her responsibility to change how he eats.
I agree.
By cooking for him.
I agree. And I did say that explicitly, but this is just something I thought
not
might
for
help.
A month's worth.
Well, yeah.
But every now and then, sure.
I'm saying in a way to try to change his palate. Change his palate, train his palate rather, was what I was going for.
I don't know that I would do all that. But
I mean, it may not be the answer, but hey, it's a thought. She did ask us, so there's an answer. It may not be the best answer, but it's something that I think could be worth a shot.
It's definitely worth a shot.
Yeah. And then show him how cheap rice is and how easy to cook rice is. Buy him a rice cooker for his birthday.
I just don't think you're going to necessarily change a single man's eating habits by telling him that it's cheaper.
But at the same time, if y'all have discussed marriage and y'all plan on getting engaged, it could very well be something that he understands is important to you. So, like I said, talk to him first. That was my first thing. Talk to him, try to understand, and then kind of go from there. Then if he's willing but isn't taking his own action, then try to do that 30-day thing I was talking about.
Well, good luck, Jane. Let us know how that works out. We want to hear. Definitely want him to be drinking some water. Try to sneak in some vitamins if you can. And have a...
I wonder if she's older than him. And if so, how much? Anyway, just a thought. Carry on.
Do you want to do another one or no?
Yeah, this one doesn't seem like it'll take long.
Okay. All right. So our next question comes from...
Also fake name.
Yeah, that's why I paused. Let's do Maggie. So Maggie says, I'm a 23-year-old woman who recently graduated from college and started working in corporate America. I'm currently single with my eye on one specific person I work with from the same school I went to. We work in different departments, so there wouldn't be any awkward overlap. I think he's attractive and he's a nice guy, but I'm not sure how he feels. So here's what I need your help. Is this a signal? He intentionally stopped me in passing to say that he liked my perfume and that I smelled nice. It was a simple compliment, but does that mean he likes me? Thanks, Maggie.
Here's the deal. I'm going to keep it a whole 100 with you. It could very well just be that you really do smell nice. It could have been one of the nicer fragrances he's ever smelled in his life and wanted to let you know that your effort did not go unnoticed. And that could literally be it. But it sounds like there's also a reason for you to believe that it could potentially be something more than that. So with that said, take it slow. Oh. This time, take it slow. Because one of two things could happen. One, it could have just been a compliment. He may not be looking for a relationship. He may already be in one that you might not know about. He could just genuinely be a nice guy and complimenting you on your fragrance, Then there's also the possibility that, he might like you. So if that's the case, don't do anything stalkerish, crazy. Don't go overboard immediately. Don't just start planning your wedding based on that compliment. You know what I'm saying? So give it some time. Give it, just let the friendship grow. Let the friendship develop. You'll likely end up around each other quite a bit since you work at the same company. But even though you do work in different departments, it could potentially still be somewhat awkward. If you're working in the same place, you might end up in the same department one day. So that's something to consider. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
I would say that's probably a signal, but also you're right. It very well could be just a simple, harmless compliment. Yeah,
because guys do that, contrary to popular belief.
Just
there's not always an underlying motive.
Yeah, so there's no way for you to know. You're gonna have to put yourself out there, and I think there's an easy way for you to just kind of do a simple, "Hey, how are you doing? Do you want to grab a cup of coffee?" Something really low key. To get to know them a little bit better, and then kind of pick up on some other signals from there. So
here's my advice. Don't try to make it a date. Just be like, hey, I'm going to grab some coffee. You want to come with me?
Right.
And that'll turn into a full-blown conversation, Not like, I was wondering if you'd like to have coffee with me. That sounds more like a date. You'd be like, hey, I'm headed to this coffee shop. Come with me.
Right.
Super casual, chill, laid back, and take your time. Trust me. Don't dive head first into that. There may not be any water.
Yeah. So good luck, Maggie. Let us know how that goes for you. And remember, you can send us your question to askttrl@gmail.com, askttrl@gmail.com. And as we always do, we're just going to wrap up this week with our love life advice. And I will say my love life advice for this week is remember your single self.
Yeah.
Not your whole phase if you had one, but like the super productive, independent parts of yourself where you were like just focused. Like a lot of times when people are single or like right after a breakup, right after you cut your hair, you go to the gym, you're eating healthy, you're working on your projects and your side hustles, and you're just like, you clean your house, you have all this energy that you channel into positive places. And I will say, this is obviously no offense to you,
there will be none taken.
but that is something I have to remind myself of all the time. A lot of times when you get in a long-term relationship, you can get quite comfortable, quite cozy, if you will, and you kind of let some stuff slide. You relax, and it's definitely unconscious. And it's something that you of course don't do on purpose. Like I'm not sitting here like, well, let me let myself go because I got him, but you kind of relax a little bit in multiple areas of your life. And I will say with Ryan traveling for work this week, it just kind of inspired me to think about like, what are things that I used to do before we lived together or even before we started dating. And so it's like simple things like making the bed and, cleaning the house, and just like, I'm trying to think of like, okay, what is something that I would do if another person wasn't here? And obviously these are things I could do while he's here. Like, it's just more of a mental thing. It's a psychological thing where you just, I don't know, get a little bit of motivation. So I just wanted to share that with everyone. That, even if you're in a relationship or married or dating or engaged or whatever, like, just remember your independent, super amazing, badass self, that you can conquer the world and just continue to be that. And then if you are single, like, just use this time that you are single to focus on yourself and all your amazing things that you're wanting to work on, and channel that energy into something positive.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree. Lil Wayne had a song that said, "Don't you ever get too comfortable." Obviously, it wasn't as simple as what we're talking about, but Beyonce also said that don't ever for a second get to thinking you're irreplaceable. Mm-hmm. So these are my I guess tag along advice on this is keep that same energy as when you were trying to get her or him or them. Keep that same energy to keep her, him, or them. Don't just like oh, I succeeded in wooing her, so now I can just blah, blah. Don't just let yourself slip that way. Also, it's very important to maintain yourself, because a relationship is two people, not two people literally just being half people to form one whole person. A relationship is two whole people. So you do need to maintain the things that you were doing, or obviously not all of them, but maintain aspects of yourself that kept you healthy, both physically and mentally. Don't stop going to the gym, because happy weight is a real thing. And we found that out the hard way.
Yep.
And it does not go away as easily as it would have many years ago. So keep that in mind. First of all, trust me. Second of all, don't just be like the nicest guy in the world, and then as soon as you're in a relationship for X amount of time, don't let that whole nice guy thing slip. Make sure that you're still putting effort into putting a smile on her face. Make sure you still keep that effort to let her know how special she is to you, and make sure you remember to remind her how special she is to you. Don't just let it be a thing in the beginning, and then now that we're together, I'm not doing all of that. Don't let that be a thing. That pretty much wraps it up for me.
So that is our love life advice for the week. A little quick tip for you if you are in a relationship or want to be in a relationship one day. That's your unsolicited advice. Hope you got something out of that. And so that pretty much wraps up this week's episode of TTRL, Tara Talks Ryan Listens. This is T-Car and Ricey here with you once again. Make sure you're following us on social media at This Is TTRL. That is Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can follow me at I am T-Car.
And you know where to find me at THERY_C. As in man, hold up, it's the Ricey.
And we hope y'all continue to listen to the podcast.
Thank you for your patience.
Yes. Bear with us.
We're going to get back on schedule soon, I promise.
But also make sure you go back and check out previous episodes that you may have missed, so you can get to know us a little bit better, especially some of the earlier ones where we introduce ourselves and how we met. And so that way,
episode about the porch thieves, so you'll understand why I talked about the neighbors moving out.
Yes.
Yeah, all of that.
So check that out, and we hope to see you again soon. Have a great week.
Peace.